For more than a decade, MotoGP has been a battlefield defined by eras of domination. From Valentino Rossi's golden years to the Jorge Lorenzo Dani Pedrosa Casey Stoner four-way clashes, and later Marc Marquez's iron grip on the premier class, dynasties have been built and shattered. But as the 2025 season winds down with Marquez again miles ahead of the competition, a surprising new storyline has emerged. Marco Bezzecchi and Aprilia are building the foundations to become the next genuine threat to the eight-time world champion in 2026. Marc Marquez's return to the top has been so overwhelming that the 2025 championship was effectively over before summer.
Welcome to GP Time. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates.
He has not only beaten every rival, but obliterated them. His brother Alex Marquez has had a career-defining season on Ducati's GP24, but still trails by nearly 200 points. Pecco Bagnaia, Ducati's two-time champion, sits almost 300 points adrift, enduring one of the worst title defenses of recent memory. The numbers are brutal. Marquez has led 309 laps across Grands Prix and sprints this year. His closest pursuer? Alex, at 106. Beyond that, only Marco Bezzecchi, a rider who started 2025 as a project in progress with Aprilia, has even cracked the 80-lap mark. The message is clear: no rider on the same machinery can topple Marquez. History supports this too. Never once in his career has Marquez lost a championship battle to a teammate or a rival on identical equipment. If he is to be dethroned, it won't be Ducati's internal arsenal that does it. It must come from a rival manufacturer. Enter Marco Bezzecchi. At the San Marino Grand Prix, the Italian delivered his most convincing performance yet in Aprilia colors. While the result was still a defeat to Marquez, the manner of it raised eyebrows across the paddock. This wasn't Barcelona, where Marquez is historically vulnerable, nor Silverstone, where tire chaos can shuffle the order. Misano was a clean, fair fight on a track traditionally tough for Aprilia, and Bezzecchi kept the greatest rider of his generation honest until the final laps. Statistically, it was even more telling. Marquez was able to lap faster than Alex Marquez's personal best on 11 different occasions. Bezzecchi, however, almost matched him blow for blow, going quicker 10 times. For a rider on a bike that has historically struggled on stop-and-go circuits, it was proof that Aprilia's RSGP is no longer a one-track wonder. Aprilia's rise has not been accidental. Under racing boss Massimo Rivola, the Noel factory has systematically attacked its weaknesses. Once notorious for being peaky, blisteringly fast at certain venues, hopeless at others, the RSGP has now become a steady top-5 machine. Rivola admits there are still unknowns heading into the Asian flyaway rounds, particularly at fast-flowing circuits like Phillip Island. But Aprilia has already achieved something crucial. It no longer expects to get blown out at any race. That makes all the difference in a title campaign. Ducati learned this lesson the hard way in 2017 when Andrea Dovizioso mounted a valiant fight against Marquez, only to watch it collapse at Phillip Island with a 13th place finish. In modern MotoGP, a bike that peaks and crashes simply cannot survive 20-plus rounds against Marquez's consistency. Aprilia's 2025 package, though not flawless, is showing the balance needed for a full season assault. Bezzecchi has always been a rider with raw speed and flair. His switch to Aprilia after a stuttering stint at Ducati was a gamble, but one that now looks inspired. Since his British Grand Prix turnaround, his average Sunday finishing position has been 3.6 championship contending pace in most eras, even if still far from Marquez's current level. The Italian has also shown adaptability, a trait crucial for a factory still finding its feet in the upper tier. At tracks where Aprilia was historically weak, he has dragged the RSGP into podium contention. Even at its worst, the Bezzecchi and Aprilia combo has rarely looked hopelessly outclassed. Of course, reality bites hard. Bezzecchi is nearly 300 points behind Marquez in 2025. Closing that kind of gap isn't a matter of small refinements. It requires a step change in performance. Aprilia's development must continue at pace, and Bezzecchi must iron out the blips like his nightmare in Catalunya, a venue where Aprilia traditionally excelled, but stumbled this year. Still, as Rivola noted, the team is now competitive even at tracks that once exposed its weaknesses. That foundation means that if 2026 begins with Bezzecchi on the front foot, he might become the only semi-credible threat to Marquez's dominance before the sport's next regulation shakeup. Right now, MotoGP risks slipping into predictability with Marquez's dominance. But Bezecchi's rise injects fresh intrigue. Can the Italian and Aprilia genuinely sustain a challenge across an entire season? Or will Marquez, as he has so many times before, adapt, evolve, and crush yet another pretender? One thing is certain: if there is a rider and a machine capable of rewriting the MotoGP script before the 2027 rules reset, it may well be Marco Bezzecchi on the Aprilia RSGP. Marc Marquez has one hand on the 2025 MotoGP World Championship trophy after claiming a commanding victory at the San Marino Grand Prix, outdueling Aprilia's Marco Bezzecchi in a thrilling showdown and taking another decisive step toward his 7th Premier Class crown. The Ducati rider, already in the middle of one of the most dominant seasons in modern MotoGP history, bounced back from the heartbreak of crashing out of Saturday's sprint race to deliver his 11th Grand Prix win of the year, stretching his lead in the standings to an unassailable 182 points over his younger brother Alex Marquez. That margin means the title could be wrapped up as soon as the Japanese Grand Prix in Motegi in 2 weeks' time. This win was super important. For me, for Ducati, for the whole team, Marc said after unzipping his leathers in a Matador-style celebration on the Misano podium. Yesterday's crash gave me extra motivation. I knew I couldn't afford another mistake. Marquez's weekend had started strongly, but Saturday's sprint ended in disaster when he crashed out of the lead, handing victory to Bezeki. That moment fueled speculation that Aprilia's fast-improving package might finally expose a weakness in Marquez's armor. But on Sunday, the Spaniard answered emphatically. Launching from the second row, he surged into second place behind pole-sitter Bezeki within the opening corners. Alex Marquez, squeezed in the shuffle, slipped to third. The top three quickly distanced themselves from the rest of the field, setting the stage for a tactical duel at the front. From the first lap I was pushing Marco, Marquez explained. I knew if I stayed close enough, he would eventually make a mistake. That mistake came on lap 12. Bezeki braked a fraction too late into turn 8, drifted wide, and opened the door. Marquez needed no second invitation. He slipped past and never looked back. To his credit, Bezeki refused to fade. Riding with confidence and aggression, the Italian shadowed Marquez lap after lap, refusing to let him escape. Even as the Spaniard set the fastest lap of the race with 6 laps remaining, Bezeki matched his pace and even shook his head in frustration at being unable to force a way back through. The Misano crowd, largely behind their local hero, roared with every move, but Marquez's cool, calculated riding left no gaps. Bezeki finally had to settle for second, yet he called it one of the best races of my life. Pole position, sprint victory, and second place today. I can't complain, Bezeki said with a smile. Marc is the benchmark right now, and I was able to fight with him all the way. That gives me confidence for the future. Still, Misano hinted at something bigger than just another Marquez victory. Bezecchi's spirited challenge gave fans a taste of what could be MotoGP's next major rivalry. Aprilia has rarely looked this strong, and Bezeki is growing in confidence every race. For now, though, the throne still belongs to Marc Marquez. And unless the unexpected happens, the coronation in Japan seems inevitable.